This is Modern Mindset, the show that picks the brains of the world's leading minds to help you unlock yours. I'm your host, Adam Cox, and joining me today, we have Kelly Forrester, who is a resilience and growth leader from Over the Edge. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Adam. Thank you so much for having me. And hello, listeners.
Welcome to the show. So Over the Edge, tell us a bit about that first, and then tell us how you came to be running this kind of cutting edge, personal development brand.
Yeah. So Over the Edge actually started with my partner, Martin Miller. And he has always been that person that faces fear. He says, do never let fear determine the outcomes in life. And one of the things that he did was he was petrified of heights. So then he decided to come out of a plane, goodness knows how many feet up in the air, and just go for it. And now he actually is on a mission to get one day to go over to Dubai and jump out of the plane, obviously, over there. So the first time he ever took himself out of a plane was actually the same day that Will Smith did one of his special jumps. And so, yeah, Over the Edge was kind of named and born, if you like, from his own experiences of just stepping over the edge and facing fear.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I can resonate with that because I had a fear of heights as well. And that's how I got over my fear of heights, literally a skydive. And it is a weird thing because people think that it's the actual kind of free fall that's the scary bit. And it isn't. It's that 3 seconds before you go off, go over the edge. That's the bit that's terrifying. And that requires the courage. And there's a little trick that the skydivers told me. They said that they count from 1 to 3 when they go over the edge, but they always go on 2 because if they do it on 3, they've had so many times when people cling onto the edges. So they say, right, we're going to count to 3. They go 1, 2, and then they just go over. So
it's really funny. And you're right, actually, because Martin's got some video footage of when he's just gone out. Of course, he goes on his own now. He's not attached to anybody, which is another level, I think, really. And he literally, they go, right, you ready? And he's sort of waiting for that count and they just push him. He's got but coming out of the helicopter backwards is another different thing as well. And they teach you all of these things. I full respect because I've done it once and I probably wouldn't do it again. I'm not saying no, but it's just something that actually I'd rather have both feet firmly on the ground. Over the Edge was born.
Because for me, the second time I did it was such a different experience. The first one was filled with adrenaline. The first was actually a really tranquil experience because when the parachute's up and you can literally hear the wings flapping of birds nearby, it's such a peaceful experience. But the first time, because you're facing a fear, it kind of has a different connotation. So in terms of fears and facing adversity, your childhood, your kind of years that led up to where you are now, was that smooth sailing for you or were there a few bumps in the road?
Definitely not. No, not at all. And it's ironic, actually, because I've just written a chapter for a book. Next year, my plan is to write my own book, but I just thought I'd start by tipping my toes in and writing a chapter. And I speak about this, as you know, I love to speak on, virtual events and things like that and inspire people because not all lives are plain sailing and all of our lives are our own tapestries of life. So each of us have individual threads, spun through. Now, when I was writing the chapter for my book, I realized that every single thing that I have been through, which is multiple accounts of adversity, is for a reason. But I hadn't realized that until I wrote my book, because there was a tiny little girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, little button nose, would go into a room, would light up a room, her smile was full of love. And that little girl is still me now. And my whole thing through life has always been to lead with love, Adam. And love is one of the most important and most powerful emotions. And I think, a lot of people think, oh, it's woo-woo. It isn't. It's a gift. So child abuse, domestic violence, going through life and not being able to walk when my second son was born, and then having adultery and losing a friend of 18 years, that trust, losing a business that you've put, your whole life into, seeing that fall apart in front of you, trying your hardest to keep it together with the resources, the knowledge, all on your own, just trying, and then letting people down. And that's the hardest part, is letting people that trust you down, because it goes against your values as a person. And having all of that happen to me, and then bankruptcy, material and financial losses, all of those things really were just to the point where I was broken. I was suicidal. I didn't feel that the world deserved to have me in it. And I felt that it would be a better place with me gone. Going back to the book, when I wrote it, and the chapter, I realised that I had to go through all of that to become who I am today. And so when people say the resilience and growth leader, at first, when I picked my identity, I was like, what's that about? But I actually asked people, who do you see? What am I? Because being totally broken, Adam, you don't know who you are anymore. I lost my identity. I knew my skills, I knew my strengths, I knew who I was. I knew, even though I'd gone against some of my values, and I was deeply ashamed and filled with guilt, and I was in fear. But I knew that the values that I have weren't gone, they were just compromised. So then it's looking for those solutions. How can you move forward? And moving forward is about self-discovery. Moving forward is about not just looking at the shitstorms, but actually looking at the successes and the wins and the skills that have navigated your life tapestry throughout your life. And this is what happened with me. So I have had the toughest probably life, not being able to walk after my son was born, and then going on to run ultra marathons just for the fun of it. It's not in my DNA to stand still. I am somebody that moves forward, which is why the resilience is the scars that I have on my back. The growth is about always moving forward with protection, because we are human beings. And one of the things that I really recognize from all of this is we have to protect ourselves and we have to protect others in business and in life.
I think resilience is such an underutilized resource, an underestimated resource. And, I think people confuse resilience with determination and persistence. You could be determined, I think a lot of people are very determined. But for me, the best definition I've heard of resilience is falling over 100 times and getting up 100 times. It's not, it's the process of still continuing on a path despite the adversity, despite the obstacles, despite the challenges. And I think that takes courage, because you could interpret those 100, times that you've fallen down as kind of, I'm not meant to do this. It could fill you with doubt and questions, but the ability to keep going forward, even though you've had the setbacks, is actually what makes it such a powerful resource. In terms of entrepreneurship, I haven't met a single entrepreneur, a single person in business that hasn't had setbacks, that hasn't had, losses, that hasn't had some kind of thing that they questioned everything. But the fact that they did question everything and they still decided to keep going forward, I think shows that resilience is one of the qualities that is most impactful in life and in business. Can you think of the time where resilience has served you the best? When were you at your bleakest, and how did resilience get you through?
Yeah, sure. My bleakest was not being able to step out of the house. I had lots of press attacks, so it's out there, and it compromises your integrity, and that was really hard for me, because it wasn't who I was. Yeah, it was plastered everywhere. It was even on our local news station. So it's like everyone thought that I was this fraudulent, horrible person, and I wasn't. So seeing that, and it was almost like I'd try for a month, and I couldn't get out of the house. I was stuck. I was so numb that some days I would just sit there and look at the telly, but I wasn't really watching the telly. I just wasn't me. And I knew what I wanted to do. So I knew how I could stop that pain. And a lady helped me who is actually, not on this purpose, power and prosperity event. She will be, but she's more business minded, and this is all about well-being and health. But one of the things that she did say that really helped me in that moment was extreme gratitude. And that was, if my sons had an illness that was going to take them, how would I feel? And in that moment, I realized that I couldn't do what I felt was the right thing to do, because being a mum was much more important than taking my own life, no matter how hard it was for me. So I, step by step, I would try. And I started sharing videos, and it was very cathartic, but it was talking from right in the scar. And although I'll always have emotion, because I am somebody that has a lot of love and I do show and share my emotions, I don't burst out into tears and I don't get too emotional. I think about how my circumstances can help others. And that helped as well, because the more I shared my story, the more I shared those moments, the more people would open up to me and go, my God, I wish more people would talk honestly about this. Oh my God, this has happened to me. I'm really struggling at the moment, and what can I do? And at one point, I had nearly 200 messages arrive in my LinkedIn account, because I put about being broken and just shared this article on how I was feeling. So trying to repair yourself and redefine who you are is a journey. And each time, sometimes you step forwards, what I learned was I'd have a press attack again, or certain parts, within my liquidation would roar into the wounds. I would have all of these emotions going through me, and it would sometimes feel like I was being pulled back. And I had to keep myself, my whole being together, to think, no, that's not who I am. I didn't do that. I did this. And I know the truths. So I can just hold that, and I can hold my head high, because although there were certain things I didn't do anything that I felt was done in a way to be manipulative or be destructive or leave a chaos of kind of destruction behind me. I just did what I had to do, and what I had to do was the best way that I could do it with what I had at that time. And those words just kept me going. And I think that's all anybody can do in life. Is everybody's different, our histories are different, our past is different, we've all experienced different things in our life. So for nobody's the same. So all we have is what was and where we are. And you can take away material stuff and any of that, because that is our being. And this is why purpose, power, and prosperity is being pulled together, because it's where we are right now, as a globe, as a world, as a single person. But actually, then what it's about is where we can go. So then it's our purpose and our power, and that is our future.
Mm. It sounds like, when I look at personal development, I see two edges of the spectrum. I see the kind of the polished gurus that are kind of living the perfect life, and they've kind of like got the mansions and the cars, and they're saying, I'm great, and if you want to be great like me, then do what I do and do that. And then you've got people at the other end of the spectrum that have faced real adversity, and they figured out how to kind of evolve, change, adapt, reconcile some of those kind of issues. And then with that knowledge, they're in a position of saying, well, I figured it out for myself to some extent, and I want to help other people so they don't have to go through what I went through. And I think those are, from my perspective, easily the more appealing people in personal development, because they're authentic. and they're vulnerable and they feel genuine from a perspective of wanting to help other people rather than inflate an already pretty big ego, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's been your experiences of the different characters, let's say, or archetypes within personal development, and what do you think is the most impactful or helpful, you know, to actually make a difference in people's lives?
That's a really good question. Really good question. So when I first started, I started reading books, listening to audio because it's free, and I had no money. I had nothing. Then I started to get involved into a property community, and the people were amazing, and they still are. Unfortunately, the leader sold a course, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do it. And I sold a hot tub, and I sold my laptop to get onto this course. And I drove up, and it was, dare I say it, but it was shit. Like literally, it was the worst course ever. I very professionally lodged a complaint, and it wasn't dealt with particularly well. So the intent of that person is profits before people. And that's what you're talking about here, because ego is about money, is about status, is about wealth. I couldn't give a shit about any of those things at all, because I've had them and I've lost them. And during all of that, the most important thing is the being. And so I've also seen really good examples. And this is why the speakers are amazing. You are one of them. Okay. And what does it take? And this is what I'm going to ask for anybody watching, for anybody listening. What does it take to be good? What does it take to give love? What does it take to have integrity and respect and offer support unjudged to others? What does it take to share our knowledge? Nothing. If we can think more as a collective, if we can contribute without any expectations, that to me, that is the most important gift that you can give anyone. And when somebody is rock bottom and broken, like I was, and like there may be other people that are, what can you do? You can give them your time, you can share with them some of your knowledge, and you can give them respect, because they're brave, they're trying to be courageous, they are doing the best that they can. And sometimes I was a master at doing this. I would wear a mask. So outside, people would think, oh, look, there she is, her flash car, happy, big house, all those things. Inside, I was for 3 years living just in this mess. Single mum at one point, and literally I'd forgotten to pick up the boys. I was that stressed. So it's hard. So give your time, because they're the best people that you can see in the development space. Ruth Cudsey, amazing lady, huge amount of integrity, always gives to others unjudged. There's loads, there are quite a few really good coaches, mindset, you know, that have helped me. But sadly, there's always going to be a handful that are in it for just the money.
Yeah, I think it's money and status, you know, and that kind of stuff. And the problem is that pursuing something for just purely financial gain or recognition or validation, that's never going to feel like it's enough, you know. So it kind of fuels that kind of element of expansion and kind of sales and things like that, but not necessarily the fulfillment that comes if you actually genuinely impact someone's life. And I think, you know, the intent behind why people do what they do is just as important as what they're offering, and the impact that it creates. 2020 has been a weird year. It's been chaotic. It's been more unpredictable than any other year that I've experienced. And yet you decided 2 days prior to a global national lockdown to put on an event that features 20 different speakers. Don't you have enough on your plate, Kelly, before, you know, adding more onto the mix? What motivated you to kind of put on a virtual event, and all the logistics involved with that, and what was your vision for it?
Yeah. It wasn't something that I just took lightly. I literally woke up in the middle of the night, and this is what happens quite often with me. It's kind of almost something is helping me to to do the things that I do. Call it a divine purpose, whatever you want. But for me, I woke up and I was just like, this is what I have to do. And this was before lockdown, so it was literally only 3 weeks ago now. And Martin says, my God, you know, you are like Steve Jobs because you bend time. And I kind of do. But I also believe that sometimes as leaders, we just got to step up. You know, procrastination or perfection, all of those things, they don't serve us, you know, and we just have to go, right, this is what I'm going to do. And I happen to have good connections with people that I've built up over this last couple of years. I couldn't do it on my own. So I said, right, and I wasn't expecting everybody to come back and say, yep, we're in. But every single person I asked said, yes, I'm in. And all the dates, I've literally put it together so as it goes through a very nice flow of working with emotions, working with mindset, helping you to overcome anxiety and calm, looking at the spiritual, intuitive side. Then we look at health and nutrition and living a vibrant lifestyle, but also helping you to build wealth and also have that mindset to really help you. Because I think a lot of people putting up a limit on their income streams. A lot of people put blockers. Oh, well, we're going through a global turmoil. It's another recession. It's the worst that we've ever seen. We're not going to make any money. Well, actually, this is a really great opportunity for anybody that is serious, but also they do need to step up. So money doesn't just appear. You have to do something in order. It's an exchange of energy. So I was just so surprised when everybody said, yep, we're in. But the reason we all said yes is because we all are really good people and we all want to help people right now during what isn't the nicest of times for people, during what is a turbulent time. And there's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of stuff. People are living more in their homes. They don't want to listen to the news maybe, but social media is becoming a bit of a place to be. So this is a chance, you know, an opportunity to surround yourself by really quite empowering people that know their shit, that have been there. And I have worked with each of these people individually. And so I know that they have what it takes to be able to help anybody grow forwards. And so, yeah, it's just going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Mm. So tell us about some of the speakers that are going to be at the event and their, you know, the way in which they could impact someone that might be going through tough times right now.
Yeah. Sammy Blindle, complete burnout, complete and utter burnout. So she's going to be sharing a talk about how to come back through burnout. Alice Law, you know, it's so sad sometimes what card we're dealt, but she's lost a couple of very important people in her life, but saw them taken from her just because of stress and anxiety. So her ethos now is to work a life of calm. We have Dan Warburton, and he is all about transformation. And he's going to be sharing a 2-hour experience. And again, hand on heart, I had no recollection of this memory at all. And he literally plucked it out of me. And it was when I was a very young girl, hidden under a cupboard. My mum put me under there, and I remember seeing my dad at the door. And from the age of about 2, I was stuck in a dark place. And he literally just pulled it from me. And from that moment, it's like, whew, it's serious shit. You know, it helps you to free yourself and become unstuck. So that's going to be incredible because people will take so much from that. Obviously, there's yourself, and you know that I love the work that you do. You've helped me, you've helped my son, you've helped some of my clients. It's to be able to use that subconscious mind is so powerful, and people don't, you know, they don't realize the strength of that, but it's really powerful. And it's something that I do every day is I look at my visualization, and at the end of the day I look at exactly how closer I'm getting to my infinite goals, and I use that, tap into my subconscious mind. It's really, really good. We've got Joanne Solly, and she's a bizology lady. So she looks at numerology. Now, really interesting because, you know, it's something that I'm not particularly, I don't really like this word, but woo-woo. I'm going to find another word. But it's really quite clever because your life is on a path, and it's a numerological path. And when you realize that your year is a particular year, you see it actually is aligning with that. How does that work? So it's interesting. We have Sarah Stone, who is going to be talking about feng shui. And again, just having clarity, your workspace, getting rid of all the bits. And my house is immaculate. I love a clean mind. Like the first thing you do when you get up in the morning is do your bed. The first thing you do when you get into bed is make sure your clothes, and because if you have self-discipline, then you're clearing your mind and freeing that space for creativity and flow in your work. So that's going to be really interesting. Catherine Morgan about financial, again, how thinking about the upper financial limits and your relationships with money. Is it deep-rooted historical stuff, shit that you've brought on from your parents? Or is it money blockers from stuff that you've done? So there's going to be a huge, and these are just some. I mean, I could talk and talk and talk, but every single one of these speakers has helped me personally. And I'll say that again because I know I said it earlier, but these people can absolutely help you.
And obviously, it's tricky to have a live event where we've got speakers on a stage right now. And there has been this kind of very swift adaptation. So all the kind of people like myself that used to be speaking on stages, we're now doing these kind of virtual summits and things like that. Tell us about how your virtual event works and how people can experience that.
Yeah, sure. I love it because I've taken part in some global summits. I don't really like the name of that really, but you know, and various other things. And I think, oh, what do I like from that? What don't I like? How can I make it so it's just really nice and easy? Like I don't like all the ping, ping, ping on my phone. So I'm not using automation because I don't like it. So I've decided not to. I am going to be emailing people so they're up to date with who's going to be speaking on what day and how they've got access to going into the Zoom rooms. And I think it's important that we set up a hub, which is our Facebook group. We're all in there. There's going to be some fun stuff. So you're part of a community. Nobody that's in there is going to be negative. We're all in there to experience some joy and to actually have some fun. So it'll be a great place to be. All the speakers are going to be doing all of their talks away from Facebook because there's nothing worse than somebody, and I've done it. You're watching somebody and what they're saying is really valuable. How do you know if you didn't stay on for another 2 moments that there was information that would really help serve your life? You don't, but you get distracted. So you go, oh yeah, such and such has just given me a message on Facebook, and you go away. So I'm taking everybody off of Facebook. So it's a real kind of almost personal experience as well with the speaker. Time to ask questions. And then obviously once we've done that, I realize and I recognize that not everybody can go live at that time. We're all busy people with businesses and lives to lead. So then I thought I will update into the Facebook group all of the videos, unedited. All the speakers will still ask questions if they ask later. And then I thought, hang on a moment, what if they can't watch those within a week or 2 weeks? And it's Christmas and it's New Year. Why don't we give them all over Christmas and New Year so people can enjoy the experience? We've even had one lady, Adam, say, I'm actually bringing friends over and we're going to watch a couple of them together with some wine. Just make a little bit of a thing about it. And I was like, wow, as long as we come out of lockdown, of course. So it's quite nice that there's that feel about it. And it's £49. The value is it's just incredible. But I didn't want to set a price that was too much. But at the same time, I didn't want it to be a free event like others that don't give the value. So it's enough that people are serious about putting an investment in their own lives, but not enough that people can't afford to come and join us.
No, that's it. And I think a lot of the speakers, myself included, are going to be talking about you know, the prosperity side of things. So, you know, what I've learned about prosperity is that, you know, you need to invest to get some kind of return, and that could be investing time, sometimes investing money. But sometimes when you invest money in something, you become more committed, you give it more attention, you give it more focus, you follow up on the things that you need to do. Whereas, you know, I've seen some really valuable information in memes, you know, and I think, oh, they're good, but I don't follow up on them. I don't apply them because it's just easy come, easy go kind of thing. So I think your strategy is spot on there. If someone's listening right now and they want to experience the event, if they want to kind of make sure that they see the speakers, how can they sign up for that? Where do they need to go?
It's a really easy one, actually, Adam, because it's just weareovertheedge.com, and then it's a / breakthrough. This is a transformational breakthrough experience. So purpose is about discovering who you are, getting clarity, and really stepping into then your power. You don't really step into your power until you're truly aligned. And I know that sounds, but for me, I don't even know I'm working because I just love what I do. And I think a lot of people are stopping and pausing and discovering that right now. So power, once you have power, that's when you can contribute. That's when you can really step into to become one. And that is when that leads into your prosperity, because prosperity is about wealth, health. It's not just money. It's all things that involve health, well-being, and mindset, and obviously financial prosperity too. So yeah, purpose, power, and prosperity. www.weareovertheedge.com / breakthrough. That's how they can find us.
Amazing, Kelly. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be
Thank you.
doing a live hypnosis session, and you know, talking about how what happens inside our subconscious mind can either make us wealthy or prevent us from being wealthy. So I'm looking forward to doing that talk, and I'm looking forward to seeing the other speakers as well. I think it's going to be an amazing event. So give us that website address one more time.
www.weareovertheedge.com / breakthrough.
Fantastic, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you, Adam. Just one thing, I really do appreciate everything that you have done for all of us. And when I say all of us, once the event has finished, you know, even going forward into the future, everything you do is amazing. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you.
No, I appreciate that, Kelly. And I would also like to thank you for the support, because, you know, something that I've noticed about you is that you champion other people. So if you see people doing good things and having an impact, you're the kind of person that everyone wants in their corner. You kind of champion people and you kind of lift them up and you introduce them to people. So likewise, thank you very much for that. And to you listening, thank you for listening to the show. See you again soon for more.
Thank you.